What is up, everybody? Today we are reviewing the Speedland GS TAM. Now, if this is your first time on the channel or you're just coming back to visit, please do me a favor, hit that like and subscribe button. And if you haven't already, check me out on Instagram and TikTok, where I'm a lot more active and post daily videos. Full disclosure, I did reach out to Speedland to see if they would be interested in collaborating on a video, whether here or on TikTok, and they said that they weren't super focused on that, so I did buy this with my own money. There was no discount. These thoughts are entirely my own, and they probably will never see this video. All right, first off, let's give a quick rundown of the specs. The Speedland GS TAM is obviously a trail running shoe, and in a men's size 9, it comes in at 10.9 ounces. From a stack height standpoint, it's 37 in the heel and 30 in the forefoot for a 7mm total heel to toe drop, which, if you're not familiar, for a trail shoe, that's kind of on the medium to high end of heel to toe drop. From a lacing system, it has the BOA lacing in 2 points, which allows you to really lock in the fit that you're looking for. And the upper is going to be this very, very breathable mesh with, I believe, what are TPU overlays throughout the shoe, which give it some added protection and just overall comfort. This shoe is very interesting. It's what I would probably call a modular trail shoe, just in the sense that there are a couple of things that you can personalize about this shoe. For one, you can actually pull out the insole and insert a Carbitex carbon fiber plate, which then would turn it into technically a super shoe. Or you can leave it as is. It does have the PIBA foam, which is going to be one of the super foams out there, so it's going to feel very, very responsive even without the carbon plate. Some other things that you can kind of personalize are the lugs right here. I believe they are 3mm lugs, and I'll double check that. So here's the actual spec right here. But these lugs you can actually cut down if you'd like, as they have kind of these different angles. And so if you just take some nail clippers or a knife, you can actually cut down the lugs and personalize it to your liking. The rubber on the bottom of the shoe is going to be this Michelin rubber, so it's going to be very grippy. But full transparency, I haven't run in mud. I've run mostly on gravel and dirt, and so I'm not sure how that would really hold up on slick terrain, but from other reviews I've heard that it does pretty well. One more thing is there's this little bump right here that you can cut off to create better drainage if you're going to be running in a lot of kind of water. Talking overall fit of the shoe, this might be the widest fitting trail shoe that I've ever worn, which normally would cause some issues for me, but with the BOA lacing system, I actually thought that the fit was pretty good. I would say it fits true to size, but the wide fit is throughout the entire shoe. So if you have really, really narrow feet, these shoes probably are not for you, even with the BOA lacing, as you would have to cinch down quite a bit to get stability in the midfoot, and you would probably be swimming in the toe box. When it comes to the length of the shoe is fairly long. So even though I say it fits true to size, I would say it fits on the longer end of true to size. So I wear a 10.5 as I do in 99% of running shoes, but I do feel like, especially on my smaller foot, that there's a little bit of extra room in the toe box that if I could shrink it down just a tiny, tiny bit, I think I would. The fit of the lacing system is really interesting. I feel like with the BOA lacing, I can cinch it down to a point where it's very comfortable and it keeps my foot in place. However, it does have a little bit of bunching on the material because of just how wide they are. Talking about the fit in the heel, I was a little bit worried with how wide the shoe was that I wouldn't get the heel locked down, especially because there's no ability to do kind of a runner's knot to really keep your foot locked in. When initially putting on the shoe and walking in it, I thought that we would have some of that heel slippage, but there is a little bit of extra cushion in the heel right here, if you can see, and that does a really good job of cupping the heel and keeping you locked in place. That, in tandem with the overlays as well as the BOA lacing, keep you locked in the shoe, so there was actually no sliding whatsoever within the heel cup. Overall performance of this shoe, they're very, very fun. The PIBA midsole gives you that classic bouncy, responsive feeling, but it's so thick and so wide that you don't lose any stability when you're running. Regardless of if you're running on like camber trails where you're kind of at a slight incline, or you're running uphill or downhill, I didn't have any additional sliding forward or back and forth in the shoe. The lateral stability is really, really good because of the overlays of the BOA lacing system. And these shoes grip the trail really, really well. Again, keep in mind, I didn't run on any wet terrain or muddy terrain or slick rock, but at least on gravel or downhill loose dirt, these grip the trail really, really well, and I felt locked in. These shoes are so wide that it does feel a little bit awkward to try and get some quick turnover in your feet, but I think it just takes a second to get used to the feel of the shoe. Once that happened, I was able to open up my stride and get my cadence to more of a regular routine or rhythm. As far as overall problem areas on the shoe, there's only one, which is that on the left shoe, right kind of in this area, the inner midfoot or beginning of the forefoot right there, because the material does bunch up a little bit as I cinch down because my feet aren't as wide as the shoe, there was a little bit of rubbing. Now on an 8-mile trail run like I just did, it was just kind of the beginnings of some rubbing. I didn't really feel like it was forming a full-blown hot spot or blister, but with these shoes, it would not surprise me to see that form into something worse over the course of like a half marathon, marathon, or ultra marathon. I really don't have any other negatives to say about the shoe, other than maybe the price point. This is basically a $300 shoe, which when you compare it to its competitors in the market, something like I would say the Saucony Endorphin Rift, or maybe like the Hoka Tecton X2, I don't feel like it's necessarily worth the massive jump in price. And I don't think that that's a knock on the shoe itself, because the shoe itself is phenomenal. And I do think that in my mind, the natural place for this shoe would be more in the ultra endurance world, where you're running trail 50Ks, trail 100 milers, things along those lines. Because of how wide these are and how comfortable these are, and the BOA lacing system, which allows for easy on and off, I could see these doing really well in that ultra space, and I believe that's how most athletes are using them. But I'd be lying if I said I regret purchasing it. I think I'm gonna be able to do a lot of really fun adventures, a lot of really fun kind of weekend long runs, mountain summits, things like that in these shoes. They're definitely going to have a place in my shoe rotation. If you're still here, I appreciate you sticking through to the end of the video. Do me a favor, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button to come back for more. That's gonna allow me to create more of these videos for you guys, do more shoe reviews, and start to do some comparison and training videos as well. And if you haven't already checked out the review of the Saucony Endorphin Rift, go ahead and click right there and give it a try. Happy running, everyone.